Welcome to Channel 13 News. I'm Julie with your news. We just received word from Congress that they are thinking about making smoking illegal. We have a special guest today with us, Dr. Keller. He's going to give his viewpoint on why he thinks smoking should or should not be illegal. Now off to Kurt to interview Dr. Keller.
Joining us, Dr. Keller.
Thank you for having me, Kurt.
Now, do you think that banning smoking will be a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I do believe that there will be some pros, but some cons will occur too.
Now, what do you think are some of those pros?
Well, tax dollars will go down because we're the ones paying for all those cigarettes. When you exercise, a lot of times your lungs, once you smoke, they become worse and you can't let as much air in. So then, after short activity, you'll lose breath pretty easily. And this way, if you stop smoking, you'll be able to exercise more, your body will clean up. And your heart rate also goes up if you smoke, which is not good for your body. And then because of that, you also sweat a lot more, which is also not good because that can dehydrate you a lot.
And what do you think are some of the cons?
Well, businesses will go down because all the cigarettes and tobacco, industries will just plummet because they're not selling nearly as much as they were before. And public bars, lots of people just go there because they can smoke with their friends. And there will also be probably some outbursts of people saying, why can't we smoke and do this? And finally, there will also be a lot of people that smoke now illegally, and they will be getting in a lot of trouble.
Those are some good points.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Kurt. And back to you, Julie.
Thanks, Kurt. Those are some great pros and cons. After that, everyone's been tweeting about how Congress might ban smoking. Now off to Kurt.
We now have a leading expert on advertisement for smoking. She will be talking to us about how teens react to smoking advertisement nowadays.
Thank you, Stacey, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Kurt.
You're welcome. I have a few questions for you today. First off, do you think that anti-smoking ads will affect teens?
I think that they will, because with advertising, teens are more likely to want to smoke because they think that it's cool, or so people say. And so I think if they took that away, that'd be a lot better for our economy.
And how do you think teens will react if smoking is banned?
If smoking is banned, I feel like more teens would be less apt to smoke because they'd see less people doing it, so they wouldn't be more willing to try it.
Good points. And what do you think would be the positives and negatives of smoking being banned?
If it was banned, I think the positives would be that less people would be getting heart disease or cancer, so less people would be sick, and there would be less taxes on more trying to find diseases that would or diseases cures for those or treatments. And I think some negatives would be a lot of businesses would completely just vanish, like tobacco industries, they would just go completely away, and a lot of workers would lose their jobs. So those are some of the negatives and positives to it.
Good points there. Thanks for joining us, and I'm Kurt.
Thank you, Cindy. Those were some good facts and opinions you gave us. We will now be talking to a lung specialist who will tell us why secondary smoke is not only bad for the person that is smoking, but for other people that are around that person. He will also tell us how secondary smoke affects restaurants, homes, families, and all of our emotions.
So I'm here to talk about secondhand smoke, also known as passive smoke. Secondhand smoke is when a non-smoker breathes in smoke that is already in the air from someone who is smoking. This can still affect them in all of the ways that it can affect someone who actually is smoking. This can particularly affect children who live with parents or parents who smoke. This also affects when pregnant women smoke, their babies can be born prematurely. Banning smoking would, in addition to preventing this, it would also prevent restaurants from becoming an unhealthy place, because it would become more of a family environment, and children and adults would not have to worry about breathing in smoke. Now we're going to show you some examples of how smoking can affect you.
What's wrong, Joe?
My lungs can't take in as much oxygen because I'm a smoker.
Well, why don't you stop smoking?
Well, the nicotine is just so addicting.
Oh, well, let's go figure out your problem. I'll fix you up.
God, I woke up again.
In the second example of how smoking can affect your body, the woman woke up coughing. She woke up coughing because her body was trying to clean itself from all the bad smoke and chemicals in the smoke that she took in to her body that day or following days. Her body tried to clean herself up at this time because she hadn't had another cigarette in a while, which means the body had enough time to start to clean itself up. The body was coughing because that was its way of getting all the bad chemicals and smoke out of the system. But the bad news is, the following day, this woman, who was very tired because she didn't get any sleep because she was coughing all the time, will have another cigarette. Guess what will happen the next night? She will start coughing because her body will start trying to clean up the system because she hasn't had a cigarette in a while. This process will keep on continuing until the person stops to smoke. We will now interview a school to get the viewpoint of a student and a teacher of what they think about smoking or why they think that smoking should be banned.
We're at a local school to see a student's viewpoint and a teacher's viewpoint on if they think that Congress should ban smoking. Hey, can I talk to you for a second?
Sure, what's up?
What's your opinion on Congress banning smoking?
Well, on the positive side, it would prevent many people from getting health issues such as lung cancer and heart disease. But on the other side, economically, it could kind of hurt the economy because the government collects taxes on tobacco, and if smoking was banned, they couldn't collect that anymore, and many tobacco companies would go out of business, and the employees would lose their jobs.
Alright, and how do you think this affects people at home?
Well, millions of kids have lost one or both of their parents due to smoking, and losing a parent, particularly at a young age, is very difficult. And if smoking was banned, that would all be prevented.
And emotionally, how do you think these affects these kids at home?
Well, it's very hard for them, and obviously would make them very sad.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Welcome.
Alright, you can go back onto your class now.
Okay.
And now we are going to have an opinion from a teacher. Excuse me, can I talk to you for a second? Okay, what's your opinion on Congress banning smoking?
I think it's a great thing that Congress would ban smoking. There's several reasons why I think smoking is not good for our health. I know that sometimes there's debate over money factors as far as them getting money based off of taxes, I believe, for banning smoking. However, think about all the health benefits that when you smoke, you might get lung cancer or something health-wise, and think about the money that the health area would save in as far as not having lung cancer anymore.
Alright, and do you believe that there are any cons to banning smoking?
Cons?
Yeah, like, do you think that it would be bad for, like, businesses or...
Oh, no, they'll be fine.
Alright, and then how do you think that this affects families with people smoking?
People smoking, I think that for kids, secondhand smoking is terrible. There's people that are getting lung cancer just based off of secondhand smoking. And for kids, they don't have any control over that. And for them to experience that both in their family or for themselves, I just think it's wrong. And secondhand smoke is very dangerous.
And emotionally, how do you think this affects those kids?
Those kids, well, I think my answer as far as them having something wrong with them, even though they're not smoking themselves, I think is very emotionally hard for them to handle.
Alright, thanks for talking to us.
You're welcome.
Back after the break.
parents to teachers to even students that most all people want smoking to be banned, except for, of course, the smokers. Now, in my opinion, I don't think smoking should necessarily be banned, but there should be a lot more limits on it, such as how much they can smoke a day and where they can smoke it. From everybody that we interviewed, they also had many pros to why smoking should be banned, but all but the teacher had cons on why it should be banned. So that leaves the conclusion that there should be limits, but not necessarily full out banned. We will keep you informed of Congress's decisions because we tell you the news.